Hey everyone, welcome back to Cinematic Cravings. If you've watched The Old Guard 2, you're probably asking yourself the big question. So what happens now? Is The Old Guard 3 actually happening? When could it be released? Who's coming back? And how might this story unfold? Today we're diving into everything we know so far. But before we jump in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. With your support, we keep growing together. Let's get started. First off, let's make it clear. Netflix hasn't officially confirmed The Old Guard 3 just yet. However, the sequel pulled in 37.5 million views in its first week and racked up 66.8 million watch hours, topping the global top 10 chart. That's a strong signal. Let's not forget, Netflix has greenlit sequels for less critically loved but highly streamed movies before, Looking at You, the Kissing Booth series. Also, it seems the cast is hopeful about a third film. Charlize Theron told Variety that the team took a short break, but they really want to finish the story. Henry Golding and Marwan Kenzari both said, "It all depends on the audience," basically leaving the decision up to Netflix and the viewership numbers. So yeah, it's still totally possible. If The Old Guard 3 happens, when would it arrive? There's no set date yet, but if it gets the green light sometime this year, filming could kick off in 2026 with a release around July 2027, just like the previous two movies. The only obstacle is the cast's packed schedules. Charlize Theron is currently tied up with Apex, Atomic Blonde 2, and an Apple project. So yeah, things could be delayed a bit. Now let's get to the good stuff. What could happen in the third film? At the end of the second movie, Andy finds out the team has been captured by Discord and says, "I'm coming for them." That clearly sets up a new rescue mission. But it might not just be a physical battle. Andy and Quynh are reunited. Quynh is mortal now, but she's not on Discord's side, and this is exactly where all the theories about what's next come in. If we do get a third movie, the plot will most likely revolve around Discord's master plan. We saw Thurman's character capture the team and target Nile's powers in the second film. Remember, Nile has a very unique ability. The immortals she injures can become mortal. Plus, immortality can be willingly transferred to another person. That tiny detail might be the key to Discord trying to manipulate the team into restoring her own immortality. Based on that, it's highly likely that Andy and Quynh will team up to rescue the others. Quynh may be mortal now, but she hasn't stopped fighting. And Andy, while she has regained her immortality, is much more cautious after everything she's been through. In the third film, we could see their partnership deepen, not just physically, but emotionally as well. Rebuilding their bond might become one of the most powerful parts of the whole trilogy. At this point, Nile's role becomes even more critical. At the start of the series, she was just discovering her immortality. Now, she holds a power that could literally reshape the entire system. If the story follows this path, the choices Nile makes won't just affect Discord, they could change the fate of all immortals. We might finally learn whether she'll give that power away or destroy it entirely. Another big element? Booker's legacy. Even though he sacrificed himself in the second film, his influence will likely still echo throughout the story. Andy giving him back his immortality, or Nile drawing inspiration from what he did, could really add depth to the emotional arc. Even if we don't see him on screen, Booker might still play a big part through memories or mentions. And of course, we still don't know who from the team will make it out alive. If Netflix wants to give this finale more weight and emotion, it wouldn't be surprising to see a few heartfelt goodbyes, especially for someone like Quynh, who's now mortal again. That possibility feels very real. But again, all of this is just theory for now. We'll only know the real story once Netflix gives the go-ahead. If things go that way, Discord might use the captured team members as bargaining chips. One possible scenario? She pressures Nile by saying something like, "Give me someone's immortality and I'll release the others." That kind of moment would be both intense and morally challenging. Nile wouldn't just be facing a physical threat, but a major ethical dilemma. Her choice could literally decide everyone's fate. Andy's perspective could also shift the story's direction. In the previous movies, she's been a strong leader, but now she seems to realize that immortality might be more of a curse than a gift. If that thought deepens, she might even choose to give it up. That could add a powerful theme to the story about sharing power, letting go of control, and the weight of it all. Hearing Andy say something like, "This has to end for us," doesn't sound too far-fetched. Also, Quynh is likely to carry a heavy emotional burden in this one. After surviving centuries underwater and then returning as a mortal, only to be deceived by Discord, yeah, she's got some serious internal conflict. That could set her up for a major redemption arc. If she sacrifices herself to stop Discord's plans, it could tie up her story in a heartbreaking yet meaningful way. Characters like Joe, Nicky, and Toa might see their fates shaped by how dramatic the final script is. If this is written as a closing chapter, we might lose a few of them. But for those farewells to truly hit hard, the characters chosen would need strong ties to the story's emotional backbone. That's why Joe and Nicky's love story could be preserved, keeping that emotional thread intact. All these theories are rooted in both fan expectations and the narrative gaps left by the second film. As writer Greg Rucka has said before, this story was originally envisioned as a trilogy. So if Netflix does greenlight a third movie, there's still a lot left to say, plenty of loose ends to tie up, and emotional goodbyes to deliver. Expectations are high, but for now, nothing's set in stone. The only thing we know for sure, uncertainty. If the third film becomes a reality, we're probably in for a big rescue mission and some major confrontations. Andy's "I'm coming for them" line is one of the clearest threats in the whole franchise. This could turn into both a brutal fight and a deep philosophical showdown. If Discord's goal is to control immortality, Andy's mission might be to end the entire system. Their clash could evolve from a power struggle into something far more existential. As for Quynh, her role remains a huge mystery. Now that she's mortal again, she's kind of rediscovered her humanity. That makes her more vulnerable, but maybe also more determined. If the script leads her to a moment of sacrifice, that could complete Andy's character arc and give audiences a truly emotional send-off. Whether Quynh dies or makes a huge sacrifice, it might be one of the most powerful scenes in the whole series. Nile will almost definitely be at the center of the Old Guard 3. Her power to end immortality, or pass it on, holds the key to everyone's fate. If the movie focuses on how she chooses to use that power, the final scenes could be shaped by massive ethical and emotional questions. If Nile says something like, "No one should have to carry this anymore," and destroys the power entirely, it could end the trilogy with a bold and beautiful message. Who survives and who moves on from the group will depend entirely on the story's tone. If Netflix wants to end this saga on a dramatic note, we might see some of our favorites say goodbye. But as long as those moments are handled with care and respect for what's come before, fans will likely embrace it, especially if emotional arcs like Joe and Nicky's are honored all the way through. So in the end, The Old Guard 3 hasn't been officially announced, but from a story perspective, it's perfectly set up to be completed. The cast is ready, the fans are waiting, and the theories are flying. Now, all eyes are on Netflix. Will they give it the green light? We don't know. But one thing's for sure, if this trilogy gets completed, it won't just be another action flick. It could go down as a modern epic about immortality. So what do you think? Will Andy finally give up her immortality? Will Quynh sacrifice herself? What could Discord's endgame really be? Drop your thoughts and theories in the comments. I'll read and try to reply to as many as I can, and if you're not subscribed yet, now's the perfect time. Stay tuned for updates, in-depth breakdowns, and more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.